Welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show and polish off your Blarney Stones. It is St. Patty's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. One bar with the green beer in the house. And it's time to recap free agency day 4. Officially day 2, but it's truly day 4. And not a whole hell of a lot going on in Minnesota Vikings land, but there are some things we got to talk about.
Plenty enough to talk about. Before we get to that, remember, subscribe to the channel, like the videos. Let's get to 7,000 subs. And also, damn it, if you haven't yet, go watch that Cole Strange interview. We want him in purple. And guess what? There's a little spoiler alert. It might happen. Might happen.
And I think he actually dropped some breaking news during
mutual interest there, it appears. But we're enough of draft talk. Let's talk free agency, baby.
Let's do it. Let's get this thing rolling. And I mean, obviously, the first thing is started off early this morning with the Harrison Smith restructure, saving up, was it $6 million in cap space with the Smith restructure?
Converting that to a signing bonus. Harry the Hitman gives us a little room, and really all he did was give us room to sign the free agents that we came to an agreement with. And so we're back at square one.
So Harrison Smith was generous enough to give us Johnny Munt.
He was. Thank you, Johnny Munt. Look forward to having you. So yeah, that was really the big news today, but also we had a visitor. The Vikings had a visitor.
I once had a visitor. He left me chafed. Yeah, Ryan Bates. The last Bates of Minnesota Vikings signed free agency, I believe, was Dwayne Bates from the Chicago Bears, the talented wide receiver. But now,
not bad.
Interior offensive lineman from the Bills, Ryan Bates. This Bills Vikings pipeline is just shoving shit at us.
You know what? The Bills have been pretty good lately. I will gladly take some players out of that pipeline. Bates, again, he was a restricted free agent, but 2.4, just like Greg Joseph from the Bills. The Vikings can offer him something. The Bills have 5 days to match. If the Bills do lose him, they get zero compensation.
Zero compensation, just like I earned when I worked at Holiday for that 1 week.
I never knew you worked at Holiday, but I mean, it's adding more depth. He's another guy that can play multiple spots. Why not? I'm assuming that the Bills would match the offer unless it's something crazy, which it will not be.
Doesn't Bates still have the right of first refusal? I mean, can't he turn on the Bills?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure how that works, to be honest with you. So yeah, Ryan Bates, a guy who actually, I mean, the scuttlebutt on him isn't bad. It sounds like he's a decent player.
Decent. I don't think he's in the field much. He's only started 5 games, so he's a player that, you know, maybe in time seems like it ends up being a steal.
Yeah, well, I mean, we should preface that by saying, look at what we've had at center guard the last couple of years. So anything looks a little more attractive than what we've seen lately. So also today, there was a big press conference, introductory press conference. Kwesi came out, introduced Jordan Hicks, Harrison Phillips, and a couple of interesting nuggets to come out of that. So there was one that I thought was a little more interesting than the other, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Good. It was the fact he said, we're not here to win bidding wars on these players. We're here to make a good football team at you know, basically at a price we can afford. And to me, that was something I think a lot of Vikings fans needed to hear.
Yeah, he's basically saying, look, we're not the Jaguars. We're not going to overpay by a ridiculous amount just to get some players in-house. They're going to play smart, and they will pay players what they are worth. Kwesi, you're welcome for me translating that. And that's what they've done. And there's still some very good free agents still out there. And just like in years past, no, I'm not comparing him to Rick Spielman by any means, but the second wave, you get better deals. And that's what we're going to do. So we can get our panties in a bunch because we don't have a bunch of players coming in, but it's going to happen and we're going to get some good deals. I love the press conference today. And I love the press conference for the new players that we brought in as well. You can't love them anymore. Heidi ho, pirate.
Harrison Phillips wants to know where good places to eat in Minnesota and in Minneapolis. So guys, send him a lot of options here. He's a big fan of the show. He subscribes. That's good. And where the hell did you put my Lucky Charms, you son of a bitch?
I was trying to think of how leprechauns spoke, and I started talking like a pirate, unfortunately.
Yeah, probably your Australian accent coming through.
Go watch those press conferences. Phillips, Hicks, both just you can already tell they're spewing out purple Minnesota Vikings, and they're already very lovable Vikings. They haven't even played a snap yet.
Absolutely. And another thing that was happening today, do you know Hunter trade rumors? I did a video on this earlier. They're heating up, and something has to be done by Sunday. We cannot pay this guy $26 million next year. So sounds like his camp's being a little stiff, a little rigid, not really willing to accept the restructure, which I don't blame him for that. The guy's got to get paid. He's definitely good enough to earn every little penny he can get. And he's I'm honestly one of the best defensive players in the league. So, Hunter trade rumors continue to heat up.
Yeah, I think I hate to say it. I'm not even, I mean, usually when trade rumors get this hot and heavy, something usually happens. I mean, clearly Danielle Hunter, unless they just throw the bank at him, which I don't know how they can right now. I'm starting to just prepare myself that he might not be here.
Let's just not. Honestly, okay, here's the thing. We're already prepared for that because he's only played 7 games in the last 2 years. But do not accept way below market value for him. And that's the thing. I think it puts the Vikings in a tough spot because teams know that like the Vikings can't pay this, and he's been hurt 2 years in a row. So they can lowball the Vikings on the trade offer. I hope to God Kwesi does not accept, anything less than a first-round pick and another pick, or at least 2 more picks and a player or something. You got to at least get at least 1 first-round pick out of this deal.
I take his injuries. I mean, you keep mentioning the 7 games in the last 2 years. I ball that up and just jam it up your ass because they're very fluke injuries. They're not like reoccurring injuries. So the injury thing, take that out of the equation. It's
Where are you
BS. It's lame.
Where were you putting it?
I'm putting it up your ass because I mean, if this is a reoccurring, the same injury, a shoulder injury over the last 2 years, same one, it's nothing. That's not going to hurt his trade value at all, and it's. But
it's something teams can come back with, whether it's merited or not. They can come back
matter.
and
They
say,
can say
"This guy's only
want.
played." Yeah, but I mean, this is why we're offering you this, and I mean, teams can do that. They can use that to their advantage, and they will.
It's not going to help.
Whether if it's true or not, or if it's valid or not, teams are definitely going to try to swing that when they offer the Vikings deals for this guy.
No, I don't believe it.
No, that's why you're not GM in the NFL.
Exactly. And I would be a horrible one. My team would be just players I really, really like, and players I like their names.
Yeah. Your starting quarterback would be, what's his name? Jimmy Clausen.
Yeah. And we'd have championship rings all over these hands.
Yeah, maybe not. So Danielle Hunter, we'll see what happens. Something has to be done.
We'll see what happens. He goes. I think we can both agree they're not giving Danielle Hunter away.
No.
Danielle Hunter isn't going to be given away for a 3rd and a 5th next year. Danielle Hunter will have to have some serious compensation, or they're not going to do it.
They won't
do it. And sit out, whatever. We're not giving him away. He's too damn good.
Hold on for one more day, just like Wilson Phillips saying.
Hold on for one more day.
And my dream of Skol is back. It's alive. Zadarius Smith. Nah, he ain't going to Baltimore. He's still out there to be had. He could still come to Minnesota.
And it's not even just a pipe dream. I mean, the Cowboys and Vikings have both been mentioned since he decided to not go back to the Ravens as teams that are still digging into him. So it's going to be a very, very good sized contract. But if Danielle Hunter's actually traded, Zadarius Smith is definitely in the picture, because Zadarius Smith, even though for some reason I keep thinking he's like 39 years old, he's still young.
Well, yeah, and I think it goes hand in hand. If you move Hunter, then you got room to sign Smith, and I mean, I would rather have Danielle Hunter on this team, but if you don't get him, then Zadarius Smith is a hell of a second option. So, and Zadarius Smith and draft picks, I could live with that. I could live with that.
Think about this: you get Zadarius Smith, but you also get, say, a 1st and a 3rd. Would you rather have that, or would you have Danielle Hunter?
And maybe even an unhappy Danielle Hunter, depending on what happens. And
an unhappy Danielle Hunter that gets you 15 sacks a year.
But what I like about Zadarius Smith is that those games against the Packers, he's going to do everything he can to chew on Aaron Rodgers' scrotum. He is going to eat that thing alive.
God,
absolutely,
filthy sack.
All right, so there's still players that make a lot of sense for the Vikings who are still out there to be had. We still got the 2 offensive linemen. Billy Turner's still out there. J.C. Tretter's still out there. Obviously, the Vikings got to make some move, free up some space to get those guys here, because I think they're both going to get decent contracts. And then you look at who's still out there as far as the defensive side of the football, especially at the cornerback position. Patrick Peterson, Stephon Gilmore, Bryce, Bo Callahan is still out there. So Vikings can upgrade this team still with some guys who are haven't signed yet with teams.
Yeah, look at this is going to be the second wave. This weekend into next week, We're going to see some of these very good players still getting signed at a cheaper price than the Jaguars, blowing their absolute load. And defensive guy, I mean, there's still Fowler, Carl Nazib. There's still some very good cornerbacks out there. One thing we didn't mention is the Vikings actually made another phone call to Mackenzie Alexander.
Yeah, they
still
did.
Don't want him. Don't want him.
We should have had this number one. They called Mackenzie. Why didn't they just do it in one shot? I mean, they're wasting long distance phone calls. Yeah.
Oh shit! Can you imagine logging onto that? Oh god, Dakota Dozier's on this. This is not good.
I mean, it's nice that they're doing that, but seriously, has Mackenzie's phones has it been ringing with other teams? I don't think so. He was literally like the worst rated corner in the league last year.
No, Kyle Fuller was. So still some players out there. Vikings we're still gonna get some players that are gonna get us very excited, and I'm excited for next week.
Well, it's day 4, but there's still plenty of good days to come. A lot of big things still have to happen with the Vikings, and let's not get. I mean, literally, it's day 4, but it's only 2 days in this. Everybody's freaking jumping ship on Kwesi and bad mouthing what the Vikings are doing. Relax. It's just part of the process. A little bit of the piece has been put in there.
Kwesi said the best thing he's probably said the whole time, and he already said it. We're not in a bidding war.
We're not. We're not
going to blow money, and I love it. So plenty of time. Let us know in the comments what you're thinking, how you feeling about free agency. Can't wait to hear it. Hit up that Cole Strange interview. If you watch that and don't want him in purple, you have no soul.
No soul, no heart, no balls. And remember this, Coca-Cola. Pour that on some insects. It'll kill them instantly.
Huh.